Welcome back to the Commanders Declassified podcast, your home for all things Washington Commanders. Every day that goes by brings us one day closer to training camp, the first training camp of our new revelation, our new Washington Commanders. And fellas, I am super excited. But of course, quarterbacks are going to be in the news. Eric, you saw, I don't know if you saw it, but Jayden Daniels, the little leak clip from the Giants combine interviews or whatever. And, some people love it because he's like, hey, with the little play on the board, he's like Z right X 64, split splash 22. And the coach like, what do you want me to do? He's like, throw a touchdown. And then some stupid account online was like flipping out about how poor he did on the board work and all this other stuff, man. Eric, do you take anything from that situation at all?
No, it's TV in the summertime. It's Hard Knocks. I couldn't care less. This team probably put him through some board work and still drafted him at number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and trust them over some yokel on the internet and a 30-second clip from Hard Knocks, which is heavily sanitized. That it's one of those shows like the Giants, have complete control over what you see. So maybe they wanted to make him look like an idiot, even though he didn't really look like an idiot. I mean, whatever he was saying looked good to me. But I don't know anything about what he was talking about. So, no, long story short, no, I don't take anything away from that other than stay away from the internet and social media.
And the Giants.
And the Giants.
Mike, what about you, man? What do you think about that tweet about how poor he looked in that interview session?
I don't agree that he looked poor. Like, since when is saying I'm going to throw a touchdown a bad thing? Right. Like, the read was right. Dable asked him, who should I throw? I mean, what are you going to do if you get the cover one on this play? He said, I'm going to throw a touchdown. There was only one route on the board that was a 9 route, a fly route, and that was a fade. And somebody even showed a clip at LSU of that exact scenario. He threw a fade to Neighbors for a touchdown against cover one. Like, it's ridiculous to critique it. It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous to say it was bad. Like, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. And somebody said that this was going to blow up, and it took a day or two, but it finally blew up. And I'm over this. I'm over Ayuk. I'm just over this entire offseason already, and we still got about 3 weeks left until real training camp. So, yeah.
And if you thought that things are going to quiet down, that name change debate is boiling back up like it does every 3 or 4 weeks, and it just will not go away. All right,
and here I am with the headline, like, fuel to the fire.
That's right.
You're wearing gold pants too, aren't you?
Nah, black shorts.
So that uniform combination should be all right, man. I'm looking forward to that. Eric, I got something I want you to do for me. I've seen this go around the internet on social media where people are blind ranking things, right? So I'm going to ask you to blind rank these 5 running backs. I'm going to give you 5 of them. I'm going to give you one name. You tell me where you're going to rank them 1 through 5, okay? As we go.
Man, you had to give me running backs too, huh?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Alfred Morris, 1 through 5. Where are you going to put him?
Ooh. So just off the cuff, I'm going to start to assume this is greatest Redskins running backs of all time. So I'm going to put Alfred Morris at 5.
All right. John Riggins.
1.
Adrian Peterson.
Oh, man. I would have put him below. I got to put him at 4. I would have put him below Morris, but.
That's the fun of this exercise, right?
Yeah.
Clinton Portis.
This is going to be tough. All right, I'm going to put him at 3, and I'm going to roll with whoever you give me next has got to be 2. I'm a little curious on who it's going to be.
All right, Rock Cartwright.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. Stephen Davis.
Oh, I'll put Davis above Portis. I will.
Okay,
Stephen Davis and Larry Brown. I would have put above Clinton Portis. The only 2 that I think I would have. Maybe Terry Allen on the same level, but I'd probably put.
I knew he was going to say Stephen Davis.
Yeah, Stephen Davis. I'm fine with it too. I would redo it if I knew all 5 at once, probably, but
It's a
actually,
solid
no.
ranking.
Yeah, actually, no, I wouldn't because, like I said, you didn't do Larry Brown or like guys like that. Larry Brown, Terry Allen, Ernest Bynard, guys like that. So it's cool.
I would
fine
flip
with
2 and 3.
Yeah, you had Riggins, Stephen Davis, Portis, Adrian Peterson, and Alfred Morris.
Yeah, I'd probably flip Morris and Peterson. I'd be fine flipping Portis and Davis, but I'm also fine with Davis because Davis just got shafted. He had too short of a run here. He could have been easily the number 2 back of all time if he'd stuck around and we had a coach that cared about running the football. But yeah. Davis, Portis, they're on that same level for me. Again, on my list, I would have Larry Brown at 2. I would have Terry Allen in the top 5 as well somewhere.
I like it. 7 running backs in the top 5, man. You got this. All right.
No, I mean, I'd kick Adrian Peterson, Alfred Morris out the top 5.
All right. And I can't let you get away without doing one of these, Mike. We're going to go wide receivers, all right?
That's cool. Rock Cockright still got me weak, man. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, Santana Moss.
Ooh. I'm gonna put him at 2.
Okay. Pierre Garçon.
Ooh. 5.
Okay. Gary Clark.
4.
Terry McLaurin.
3.
Art Monk.
1.
So you ended up, you went Art Monk, Santana Moss, Terry McLaurin, Gary Clark, and Pierre Garçon, right? You agree with that order, Eric?
I like it.
I would. I mean,
I like that.
Not bad for a blind list. I would flip Clark and McLaurin right now. And I would almost. I'm cool with Santana at 2. I would almost have Clark up at 2, but I'm fine with Santana over Clark because Santana was phenomenal here, especially with the team that was around him for the most part in the quarterback play. Santana was great here, so I got no complaints on there, except other than maybe flipping Clark and McLaurin because McLaurin's just not there yet. He has no question he can get there if he wants to. He can be in that top 2-3 guys.
Gotcha.
I'm cool with having McLaurin 3rd because I think I might get some credit from the younger fans.
Yeah, you're looking for that clout. You're looking for those like and subscribe. So I got you. People my age don't do that anymore, so you're
fine. All right. I have one more. We're going to do this combined. I want you guys to alternate. So I'm going to start with you, Eric. These are coaches, okay? Schottenheimer.
Four.
Okay. Mike Gibbs.
Threw Mike a softball up there.
Uno 1. Uno 1.
Eric Gruden.
5.
Yeah.
10. This is a top 100 list. Put it at like 86.
Mike
Rivera.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, Mike.
What do we have left? What
we got 2 and 3 left.
2 and 3. Oh, 3.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Hey.
It's complete garbage.
All right. We got one more, right?
Yep.
Norv Turner.
Ugh. Yeah.
Got to be 2.
Yeah. So definitely I'm putting Marty at 2 on that list. Like you couldn't do like George Allen.
No, so you guys ended up with Gibbs 1, Norv Turner 2, Rod Rivera 3, Marty Schottenheimer 4, and Gruden 5.
Yeah, what a
man.
That really sucks too.
So, Rivera's 5th, like a distant 5th on that list.
Honestly, maybe I don't know, man. Gruden's pretty bad. Gruden lasted longer, so I guess you could put Rivera at 5.
Man, you know what? You might be right.
Gruden
you know
was
what?
bad. He was
Gruden had a advantage that Rivera didn't have, even though Gruden was an offensive mastermind himself. He McVay on this staff for most of his run. And I think that that was his good part of his coaching tenure was when that offense was cooking with Garcon, Jackson, Crowder, and Cousins. So maybe I am giving him too much credit, but it was so bad under Rivera, man.
I can see Rivera 5. I'm fine. Gruden lasted longer. He did have a couple of winning seasons, which Rivera never did. Winning, I mean, 9-7 is winning. 8-7-1, but still, I mean, Rivera didn't. So yeah, I'd put it there. But I would definitely revise that list if I knew all 5. I'd definitely have Marty at number 2. Still have Norv at 3, even though he was trash. He was the 90s version of Jay Gruden. But yeah, what a lousy grouping.
I'm kind of having fun with this. I'm gonna do one more.
Okay.
I want you guys to alternate. Okay. These are quarterbacks. Redskins quarterbacks, basically. Okay. Mike, I'm gonna start with you. Alex Smith.
Two.
Eric, Jason Campbell.
3.
Okay.
He's coming back with John Freeze or somebody. Yeah.
Okay, Conklin. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Mark Rippon.
I'm gonna say
You know who else on this list?
Because I'm gonna say one. I'm gonna say one only. The strength of the 91 season. That's carrying him. That's carrying him.
All right. Patrick Ramsey. Eric.
4.
All right. And that just leaves 5.
Giving me Joe Theismann at 5. And that's any of these guys on this list could be 5, honestly. It's just a list with just 5 through 5. But go ahead.
Sammy Ball.
Oh, dude, come on, man.
He's just making it up.
I know.
What kind of range is this? That's all I'm saying. How you gonna start with Alex Smith and then say Mark Rippon? What?
Sammy Ball.
What kind of range is this?
Jason Campbell.
That's the whole point.
All right.
Blind rankings. You got to be good at this stuff. All right. Anyway, that's my fun for you. Let's talk training camp. We got to get our guys ready for training camp. And there's going to be a lot of position battles. We talked about that before on the podcast. One of the things that I noticed, I was looking at this week, that the 2025 draft is very, very deep in the cornerback position, right? And we talk a lot about Benjamin St. Juste and what he is and what he isn't. But is there anything that you think he can prove at training camp, Mike, to affect his future status here? Because he's coming up on some contract decisions in the next year or two. He has not created a bunch of turnovers. He's been hurt a lot and quite frankly played inconsistent. What are you looking for him from training camp with Joe Witt and those folks to prove to you Benjamin St. Juste needs to be here long term?
I guess for starters, we just need to hear that he's catching interceptions in practice. That'll help. That will help. But outside of that, this is arguably the best coaching staff that he's ever had. I am a big fan of his. I like his confidence. I like his play style. He is a bit handsy, but with the coaching staff that we have now, I'm hoping that they can teach him how to play better coverage, use better technique. And if that confidence and place, his skills and his confidence can both grow, then I think he can become a good corner in this league, like one of the better corners in this league. But if he can't do it under this coaching staff, he just don't got it. And yeah, he'll get future endeavored.
Do you think he can play his way out of a position this training camp, or do you think he's secure enough on the roster with this spot? Not get cut, you know what I mean? But like maybe we see the fellow we brought in from the Chargers, Mike.
Yeah,
I forget what his name is. Mike something. Yeah,
Johnson, maybe
Davis.
Yeah,
Mike
I think
Davis.
it is Davis. Michael Davis. I guess it depends on who's performing the best out of those three. When you throw Forbes in the mix, it's hard to answer that question specifically because of what Witt said when he said there aren't 11 starters on the team. We're about 16 deep or whatever. It was something he said. I feel like that third corner is a part of the depth that Witt is talking about. So I don't know if St. Juice can play his way out of the position. Maybe he might play his way like from less starting time or less playing time. But I don't think he's going to go from outside of those top three corners, unless that corner that we got from the rookie free agents, the undrafted free agents. I'm sorry, the one from I forgot the school he came from. Unless he has a spectacular training camp, I can't see Juice. So I'm saying Juice falling out the top three.
Okay.
Nope.
Eric. The Derek Forrest and Quan Martin battle, right? I think it's something that's going to be really fascinating to see. To Mike's point, they're going to both play, I think, in camp, or not in camp, but in the regular season. But who has the leg up, do you think, in that camp battle between Quan Martin and Derek Forrest?
Well, to hear Joe Witt talk, I've seen Joe Witt talk 2 or 3 times this offseason, and every single time he has brought up Quan Martin without being asked about Quan Martin. So that tells me that Quan Martin has a leg up. He really seems to like Quan. I think Forrest probably has a spot on this team, but if I'm picking, early favorites, I'm going with Quan.
Okay. That'll be interesting. I mean, Forrest has been explosive when he's on the field. He's made plays. His highlight to me is that tackle against ETN when we played the Jaguars. He just lit him up. But the best ability is what? Availability. Right? And, Quan Martin's a young playmaker too, so I'm excited to see that. How much of Mariota, Mike, do you want to see in camp early on? Like, are you expecting Mariota to kind of alternate most reps, or do you think it's probably going to be more 70-30, 80-20, 90-10? What do you think?
I think it'll probably be 70-30. I feel like that's a good number, a safe number to say. I kind of wish it was 100-0, but you can't disrespect a vet like that. And he'll get some of the first team reps just in case. I feel like it should be mandatory to get your backup sometime with the ones. But yeah, let's not give him too much, because this is or should be Jayden's show now. And 30%. That's the max, the absolute max.
Yeah, I'm with that. We have a lot of interesting battles along the defensive line. I mean, I think they're all going to be in the rotation. I think they're all going to play. But is there any one defensive lineman you really want to see go after it at camp, Eric?
Well, John Allen's my guy and will always be my guy. But I think we know what we're going to get from John Allen and Daron Payne at this point. Johnny Newton, I think everybody wants to see, provided he's healthy enough to start camp. So he's the one I'll have my eye on. There's a lot going on at the edge, but we really don't know what we got out there. So, I'm just hoping somebody emerges on the edges, be that Dante Fowler or Dorrance Armstrong or KJ Henry from last year. I hope somebody emerges as a good rusher off the edge, and looking forward to seeing Jamin get some edge rushing reps as well. So not one particular player, Johnny Newton, the high draft pick who hasn't really done much yet, probably want to see him. And like I said, just somebody on the edges step up. Preferably two guys, so we have starters.
Colin Farrell as well, right? So
Cleveland Farrell.
Sorry.
Colin Farrell was bullseye.
That's right. For me, on the defensive line, what I want to see is who the heck is Phidarian Mathis? What does he do well? And is he actually going to be out there, right? Because like he still has the most to prove to me on the defensive line. So I want to see what he's going to do and if he's going to be able to make any impact in camp whatsoever. So I am
Phidarian to me is entering that. I've already forgotten his name. What's that wide receiver from North Carolina that you love so much? That's where Phidarian
Diami Brown.
Yeah, Phidarian is like the defensive Diami Brown because some people might still be waiting for him, but I'm not one of
them. Austin Ekeler, as we know, is going to be a big part of the passing game, Mike. Training camp can get pretty physical. Eckler's been banged up a lot throughout the years. He plays in a lot of games, but he has missed his share too. Do you want to see him get a lot of work in camp, or do you think he's like veteran enough and we know what he's going to do to the point where you just want to see him like dial it back in camp and give most of the work to Robinson, Rodriguez, and those guys?
Luckily, we have that head coach and an offensive coordinator and quality offensive coordinator. Yeah, like there's a lot of experienced players, coaches on the offensive staff. So I trust their judgment, and I don't think they're going to overwork him in training camp. I think they're going to just make sure that he understands as much of this offense as possible. I don't even think Robinson and Rodriguez is going to get the work that running backs typically get in work because I don't think they were running a lot of running plays in minicamp based on what reports were saying. So, yeah, I think they'll take care of him. Like you said, he's a vet. He really doesn't need too many reps, but, just to keep him loose and lubricated or whatever, like just, give him some carries, but not too much.
I like it. Eric, who's the one
he should be practicing less than Mariota
on the side field? Eric, who's the one player outside of Jayden Daniels that you absolutely do not want to see get hurt? Of course, we don't want to see any players get hurt, but if this player gets hurt, it's all over. Or you just, you don't want to see him get hurt. Who is it?
Oh man, well, yeah, clearly Jayden. Brian Robinson's going to be up there. I think he's going to be a big part of the offense this year. Never want to see Terry McLaurin get hurt. But if I had to go one player that I definitely would not want to see get hurt because our season is shot, Jonathan Allen. He's still, to me, the best player on the defense, and he's kind of makes things go there. So for me, yeah, keep that guy healthy at all costs.
Interesting. Same question for you, Mike.
I was thinking, I figured you were going to ask, so I was thinking, I'm going to say McLaurin, only because he's the captain of the team. We might be okay at receiver without him, but losing him would put a damper on the season, even if we do succeed. So I would say that's the one player we really can't lose.
And don't sleep on Tress Way. Don't sleep on Tress Way.
Oh yeah. Nah, you're laughing, but seriously.
Seriously, don't sleep on Tress Way.
I think you're both wrong. I think it's Bobby Wagner. We finally got a linebacker to play for us. I don't want to see anything happen to Bobby Wagner, especially not in training camp. Take it easy with him. No soft tissue injuries. No anything. And then second, I go Frankie Louvu. He's our young cornerstone of our defense, and you cannot afford to see him get hurt. So, all right. So one of the things that fans love and coaches hate are the training camp. What do you call them? Gym class heroes, right? Guys that lay other guys out on the team. Who do you guys think that guy is on this roster? I'm going to go with Dominique Hampton as my choice. A guy that just does too much and starts popping guys. Who do you think that might be, Eric?
My first thought actually is Sam Cosmi, but I think he's got a little bit too much. He's a vet now. Like that would have been my guy the last year or two.
Yeah,
because he's definitely a guy that's got that kind of attitude. But yeah, Hampton's a good choice. So I'll go offense. I'll go Luke McCaffrey. Like he's got that little brother syndrome. He might be trying to show. He might be trying to show a little something. Maybe trying a little too hard and showing a little too much. Maybe. So yeah, let's go Luke McCaffrey.
Lowering the shoulder on guys and blocking guys into the dirt, blocking corners into the dirt. I could totally see that. That's a good one. Mike, what about you? Who's your guy?
I'm gonna continue the trend from our draft class, and I'm gonna go with Sandwich still, man. Like I really feel like he's gonna come in with a big chip on his shoulder. You got Nick Saban telling everybody you the best player pound for pound in the draft. Coaches can't stop smiling about you. Media people are sizing you up. I even heard Brian Mitchell saying that he could be a punt returner on a podcast with Ben Standick. So like I feel like he's gonna be that type of player. But I like you all choices too. Like that makes me excited for training camp, man. I can't wait to see this type of stuff.
We're gonna create a Mr. Do Too Much award for training camp, and we should all go to training camp and give it to the guy who's just out here just doing too much, hurting their own players, going too hard at camp. I like it. I think, like, for me, my favorite part of training camp is always just seeing guys, like, up front and how much bigger they are than you expect. Eric, you remember when we went to the mini camp or we saw Deron Payne, and it was like, my God, that dude is a mountain. Who do you think?
Truck of a human being.
Totally. And he's so athletic, man. Who's a guy that you think you'd see in person that might really impress you more than what you see on TV or, pictures and things like that?
Last year it was Joey Sly. I remember seeing Joey Sly last year. I was like, dude, that dude is like a little like he looked like Wolverine, like a little compact, But I might actually go with Sanders still. I think Sanders still probably has there's a reason people talk about him the way that they do. And he's like, I feel like he might be like a little fire hydrant type dude. He's like really stout, even though he's not the biggest guy in the world. He seems like he might play a lot bigger than small. Like the measurements don't really tell the real story with him. So Sanders still curious at how big, what he might look like.
That's a good call. What about you, Mike?
I'm gonna go with Daniels. Like on TV, he probably looks like a string bean or whatever, but see him in person, he probably looked like an NFL quarterback. Maybe not as thick as you want him to be, but he probably looks like an NFL quarterback, no different than Stroud or Dak or whatever. Well, maybe not Dak, but yeah, like he probably looked like a 2024 NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the left tackle Jackson, I think he's probably one of those guys that is just a massive individual, especially in person. Eric, you remember when we were at that same mini camp I was talking about? Jahan Dotson came over to us. Jahan Dotson's not big at all. Brian Robinson was huge when you see him in person. Antonio Gibson was big in person, especially like around the calves. I remember he just had massive calves. So it's always cool to see guys up close and personal to see how big they are. Cosme was over there too. I don't remember, like he was big, but I don't remember thinking he's a giant. You know what I mean? When we saw Cosme up front. So
yeah, he looked like a guy who plays offensive line, but he wasn't he wasn't huge.
Yeah, exactly. From a tone and energy perspective at camp, I don't foresee any issues. I think Dan Quinn's got the right kind of vibe. He's bringing in sort of that youthful but experienced energy into the camp. From a special teams perspective, I think there's a lot of battles still to happen. I don't think we know a lot. We talked about the kicker last week. I think there's still a really good chance that there's competition throughout camp for the kicker. And I think when it comes to wide receiver, I still think we kind of know the top two, and there's everybody else, right, in a big bag, and we're trying to sort through who that is. Eric, do you think they're done addressing that position from outside the organization at this point, or do you think the camp battles are kind of be it, or what?
She's on it, man. Ayuk's coming, right? Right, Mike? Brandon Ayuk's going to be here. That's the word on the street. Outside of Brandon Ayuk trade, no, there'll probably be some waiver wire pickups, but I don't think they're going to make like a big move or a top shelf guy or anything like that. So unless it's Ayuk, and that's kind of a long shot at this point. So no, I think you're kind of you've got what you've got, and you'll make the best of it. I do foresee Luke McCaffrey being pretty good. Maybe not right away, but I think he'll end up being a pretty solid contributor sooner than later. But no, I don't think they go out and make any big moves.
Yeah. And Mike, I got one last one for you. We talked about Jackson, the tackle. We know Leno is there, right? Is it Leno? No,
Jackson or Coleman?
I'm sorry. I keep saying Jackson, don't I? It's Coleman. I'm sorry. Coleman.
Yeah.
Coleman. My apologies. It's not
Leno's
Leno.
going.
It's what's our other guy's name?
Wiley?
No, I always get Leno and this other guy confused.
Oh, Lucas.
Lucas. Yes, thank you so much. Lucas and Coleman. I think before we kind of say Coleman will play at some point, but maybe not immediately because that's probably Homeboy's job. You still feel that way? You think like in camp there's something he can do, like especially in these inter squad scrimmages against other teams to sort of bring himself up the depth chart?
There is a pathway for Coleman to start the season at left tackle. He would have to basically dominate. He would have to let his natural ability outshine that experience that Lucas has. He would have to really show the coaches, like, I'm that dude. Like, I understand Lucas been here for a minute, and he had his chances for years to be what I'm about to be in this training camp. I am your left tackle of the future. You drafted me. You trust me. You didn't draft this dude, Lucas. He came. You inherited him. You picked me. So yeah, he has a chance, but he really has to outshine Lucas, and I think there's a path for that to happen. I really do.
Put a percentage likelihood on that one. What would you say?
75% sure that he can pull this off.
Wow. That high? Okay. I like it.
75% sure that he can pull it off. Because like I said, they inherited him. They inherited Lucas. They picked Coleman. And the fact that he was a guard at TCU for most of the season, yet they're picking him as a left tackle, that makes me think that they see something. And like I've been saying throughout the entire offseason, and Peters I'm a trust. Like as of now, I have no reason not to. So I'm that high. Like I feel like he can pull this off. I hope I'm right, but the 25%, I mean, it's probably a strong 25%, but I'm gonna trust Coleman or Robinson or whatever his name is.
Or Jackson. So you said 75% likely that Coleman wins that job. That is awesome. I want to see that happen. Eric, let's talk about your doppelganger, Sam Hartman. Is he vying for a practice squad spot, or do you think he's going to be on the 50? What is it now? 53-man roster, I guess.
Yeah, my doppelganger. I don't know. That's you're giving him a lot of credit. I always heard Lil Wayne was my doppelganger, but I guess Hartman will do. No, I think he's a practice squad candidate at this point. I think the guy they brought in, was it from Houston? I can't remember his name. You're asking me these off the cuff. They brought in another quarterback with NFL experience. I think that's going to be your QB3. I think Hartman's a practice squad candidate. Could be wrong, but that's my assumption. Unless I'm confusing him with the guy they brought in to be the coach, but I thought they brought in. There's like I gotta look now because now I don't know. Are you guys looking too? It's a race to find out who's on the roster.
We are checking.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't looking. I'm sorry.
They brought in another quarterback.
I don't remember them bringing in.
I'm fairly certain they did, but I could be wrong. Let's see.
You mean Jeff Driscoll?
Driscoll, yes.
Yeah.
Driscoll's they brought him in from Houston. I think he's QB3 material. He's that locker room guy because, I don't know, because Mariota's here. Maybe Hartman beats him out. Hartman might have a chance to beat him out. I still think Hartman at this point is a practice squad candidate. He could get elevated at some point this season, but experience probably wins when you're talking about a third string quarterback. Unless you see something in Hartman that you think being on a roster would benefit him, because he's going to be inactive every week anyway, right?
Right.
Even if he is on the roster, so you could practice squad
He'll
him.
be that emergency quarterback 3. But I think it depends on what they feel other teams might want. Like, if they feel like other teams might not make him get to the practice squad, then he might make the team by default. But I don't think there's anything out there for us to worry about a team trying to sign him after we release him or whatever. So practice squad seems more likely.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of him in the preseason. Like, he'll get every chance probably to make the team, because, like, I think, a Hartman, will probably get like the entire second half of a game or two.
Yeah.
And he'll get every chance, but I personally, I think he's practice squad.
Yeah. I mean, he was undrafted. I don't see teams. Now, granted, they did give him significant free agent money, right, to come here. So I think there was at least some interest out there. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the joint practices that they're going to hold. I'm not a believer in it tells you a lot about your team, because I remember that Ravens one from last year, but I think it can tell you about some positions, right? And I remember reading reports about how, like, our offensive line was getting slapped around against the Ravens, and they had guys just sacking the quarterback out, time after time and all that stuff. But there's a lot of false positives that come out of that practice session, because a lot of those things are scripted for certain plays, certain conditions, and things like that. But just in a general sense of toughness, I think is something that I look forward to coming out of that. So, all right, Commanders Declassified fans, thank you for hanging with us. We appreciate you guys checking out our content. Make sure you share with your friends. We are gearing up for the 2024-2025 season. We're hoping it's going to be a good one, and we want you to ride along with us. Tell a friend to tell a friend about your favorite podcast. Commanders Declassified, we're out of here. Fellas, catch you next time.